The house was quiet, a rare blessing on a Saturday. My husband Robert was out playing golf, and I thought his son Liam was at a friend's house. I was curled up on the sofa with a book, enjoying the peace, when suddenly a muffled sound came from upstairs, a rhythmic thumping, followed by a soft moan. My first thought was that Liam had brought a friend over, or maybe he was just playing a game too loudly. Curious and slightly annoyed that my quiet day might be interrupted, I slowly made my way upstairs. Liam's door was slightly ajar, which was unusual. He was normally very private. Now the sounds grew clearer. The distinct creak of his bed springs, and those soft, muffled noises. A knot of anxiety formed in my stomach. When I reached the door, I froze, my hands suspended over the doorknob. Maybe I should just walk away. Maybe everything was fine. But then a more distinct sound, something like a sigh, pushed me forward. I nudged the door open. Just a sliver, peeking inside, was enough to make me flinch. Liam was lying on the bed, his back to the door, shirtless. His hand, hidden under the blanket, was moving quickly. He was clearly absorbed, his body tense, head tilted back slightly. He looked so much older now, a young man rather than the shy teenager who had once moved in with us. My face flushed. I had walked in on him, not playing a game, but something very private. Embarrassment washed over me for both of us. I felt like the worst stepmother in the world for invading his privacy. But then, another feeling began to flicker inside me. It wasn't disgust or anger, but a strange mix of sympathy and something akin to admiration. He looked so vulnerable, so lost in his own world. Some part of me, very primal, unexpected, felt the urge to understand, maybe even to comfort him. I quickly pulled away from the door, my heart pounding wildly. I needed time to process what had happened, to calm my racing mind. But as I backed away, my foot caught on the edge of the hallway rug. I stumbled and let out a small gasp. "Hey baby, I know you've been wondering where I've been. Believe me, I've been here, but that channel was being impossible. So, I made a new home just for us. It's called Evelyn's Secret Stories. Same heat, same energy, even deeper secrets. The links are in the description, so head over there, hit the subscribe button, and let's pick up where we left off." The sound was loud in the quiet house. I froze, holding my breath, hoping he hadn't heard. A moment later, the creaking stopped. Panic set in. He knew. "Mom." His voice was hoarse, tinged with caution and confusion. My heart sank. There was no turning back now. My quiet day had just taken a completely unexpected turn. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself, and walked back to his door. This time, I pushed Liam's door open all the way and stepped inside. He was sitting up, blanket pulled to his chest, his face bright red. His hair was tousled, and his eyes, usually so clear and open, were wide with a mix of shock and utter shame. I had never seen him so defenseless, so vulnerable. It broke my heart a little, even as my own cheeks burned. "Liam," I began, my voice softer than I intended. "I didn't mean to intrude. I just heard a noise and I trailed off, unable to find a good excuse." He knew. We both knew. The air in the room was thick with unspoken tension, the silence heavier than any words. He wouldn't meet my eyes, staring at the wall behind me. "It's okay," he mumbled in a barely audible whisper. He gestured vaguely, unable to finish. We were both caught in this incredibly awkward situation. Instead of scolding him or even feeling embarrassed, I felt a strange calm settle over me. He was a young man, exploring his body. It was natural. I slowly stepped further into the room, leaning against the doorframe. "It's natural, Liam," I said, surprising myself with my own words. He looked up sharply, finally meeting my gaze. There was a flicker of surprise in his eyes, then something else. Relief. Hope. I wasn't sure. Everyone does it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. He swallowed, still clutching the blanket. Right, he whispered, still looking very unsure. I could see his hands trembling. He was still so young, still trying to figure things out. A deep maternal instinct, mixed with something else I couldn't quite name, stirred in me. I wanted this to be less awful for him. I wanted him to feel okay. Listen, I continued, moving closer to his bed. Honestly, I didn't mean to interrupt, but since I did, are you okay? It's okay, I tried to keep my tone light, though my heart was still beating a little faster. He looked at my face, searching, maybe, for judgment. Not finding any, he seemed to relax a little. He nodded slowly. Yeah, I'm okay. He still avoided direct eye contact, but looked at me for a long moment. I carefully sat on the edge of his bed, keeping a respectful distance, but close enough to show I wasn't running away. The blanket shifted, and I caught a glimpse of his bare leg. My breath caught. It was just a leg, but the intimacy of the situation made everything feel more charged. Good, I said, trying to give him an encouraging smile. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that, sis, _try, good. Just, if you ever have any questions or just need to talk about something, I'm serious. But as soon as I uttered those words, I felt an unfamiliar warmth spreading over me. It was no longer just about being a good stepmother. It was something deeper, something simultaneously forbidden and incredibly real. I want to ask, why haven't you subscribed to the new channel yet? The same lips, the same voice, just slightly more dangerous. The stories of Evelyn's secret are linked below. The air in Liam's room was still thick with previous tension, but my words seemed to thaw the ice a bit. He looked up at me, his gaze searching. Really? He asked, his voice still trembling slightly. You won't tell, right, Dad? I immediately shook my head. Never. This is between us, Liam. Forever. The promise felt heavy to me, binding us in a new, unspoken way. As I said it, I realized how much I meant it. This secret, this shared moment belonged only to us. A strange feeling of closeness enveloped us. He finally relaxed a bit, taking a shaky breath. Thank you, Mom, he whispered, saying the word Mom with a sincerity that warmed me to the core. It was not just a title. It seemed like he truly meant it. At that moment, without hesitation, I reached out and gently placed my hand on his, just above the blanket. His skin under my fingertips was warm, a natural warmth that surprised me. He didn't flinch. In fact, he looked at my hand, then at my face, with a question in his eyes. My touch was meant to comfort, to instill confidence. But as soon as my fingers lingered, I felt a completely different spark, a barely noticeable current, a quiet hum of connection, completely unexpected. There's nothing to be ashamed of, I repeated, this time in a softer voice, almost a whisper. Unconsciously, my thumb stroked his hand. He flinched slightly, though I wasn't sure if it was from the cold or something else. I felt the blush creeping up my neck. Realizing how long my touch had lasted, I still didn't pull away. Neither did he. He started, then hesitated. It seemed like he was trying to find the right word. Sometimes it's just hard to understand something. Finally, he looked at the blanket, still holding me tightly. My heart ached for him. At this age, he was full of new feelings, new impulses, and probably strong confusion. I know, I said softly, it can be confusing, it may seem like it's too much. I removed my hand from his, allowing my fingers to lightly touch the edge of the blanket. It was a subtle movement, but it carried weight. I know some of you were wondering where I've been. I never left. I just switched to a new channel. Evelyn's Secret Stories. The same energy, new space. Find me. He finally looked up at me. And this time, there was a new openness in his eyes. Like you, the people you know. He made a vague gesture, seeking advice. It was clear he was asking for more than just a conversation. He was asking for understanding, a different kind of connection. A strange feeling blossomed in my chest. It was a mix of maternal care, yes, but also of growing curiosity, a forbidden impulse. I felt a warmth spreading over me, a feeling like I was wanted in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. Our physical unity with my husband had weakened over the years. But here, with Liam, there was an unrestrained, genuine need. I sighed, my thoughts racing. It was a dangerous path. But something inside me felt the need to follow it. Sometimes I started speaking a little hoarsely. It helps to understand what's pleasant to explore. I let my eyes meet his. A silent question flickered between us. He didn't look away. Instead, his gaze briefly fell on my lips, then back to my eyes. The unspoken question lingered, strong and undeniable. A charged silence hung between us, filled with a new powerful energy. Liam's eyes, wide open and curious, seemed to be asking me to continue explaining. And as I looked at him, truly looked at this young man who was struggling, who was asking for help, I felt an overwhelming desire to give him what he needed. Not just a word, but something more, something that felt right, even though it screamed wrong somewhere deep in my consciousness. It's all about touch, I began in a barely audible whisper. I moved my hand, gently, almost accidentally placing it on the blanket still covering his knees. My fingers softly touched the fabric, and I felt the warmth of his body seeping through it. He tensed slightly, but didn't pull away. It's about understanding here. These brief moments were filled with meaning, a secret language understood only by us. The guilt lingered, a dull ache in the background, but it was overshadowed by intoxicating excitement. The very mystery was a powerful aphrodisiac, deepening the bond between us. We were partners in this forbidden dance, bound by a shared experience that was both terrifying and thrilling. One evening, when Robert had gone to bed, I found Liam in the living room. He seemed to be watching TV, but as soon as I entered, his gaze was fixed on me. The house was dark, save for the soft glow of the screen. I sat on the couch next to him, leaving a small space between us. The air crackled with anticipation. A heavy day? I asked quietly. He shrugged, glancing down the hallway to make sure Robert was truly asleep. Just thinking, he muttered, then turned to me, his eyes dark and intense in the dim light. About us. My heart raced. About us. I repeated, barely audible. He nodded, then reached out, his hand gently resting on my thigh. It was a bold move, this time confident, without hesitation. I didn't flinch. Instead, I yielded to his touch, a shiver running down my spine. His fingers began to caress my skin through my jeans, in a slow, measured rhythm that spread warmth throughout my body. I can't stop thinking about it, he admitted, leaning closer. His voice was hoarse, full of longing. Or about you. My own desire flared, a powerful force that eclipsed any lingering doubts. Me too, I confessed, finding his hand and intertwining our fingers. His touch was electric, a sharp contrast to the familiar, almost brotherly touches of the past. It was new, thrilling, and utterly consuming. We spent many such nights. Nights when Robert was asleep or when he wasn't home. Our encounters became more frequent and more adventurous. We explored each other. each other with newfound passion and curiosity. Always cautious, always silent, always bound by the sanctity of our secret. The help I had offered him that first day blossomed into a full-fledged, deeply intimate relationship. It was a dangerous game, living a double life. Every shared glance, every secret touch, and every quiet conversation was not without the risk of being discovered. But for us, that risk only heightened the sweetness of the forbidden. We were two souls who found comfort and passion where no one expected. We built our own world, hidden in plain sight. Our forbidden romance became our new normal. A secret garden we tended with special care. It was a love born of an unexpected moment, nurtured in the quiet corners of our home and sealed with silent promises we made to each other. We knew it was wrong by society's standards, by any standard. But in the intimacy of our shared moments, it felt deep, beautiful, and right. And if this story stays with you, just know that there